Noel Ruiz. My man. How does it feel, brother?
Still feels surreal. Just can't really describe it. Don't really feel any different.
At the moment, as you're lining up,
Mm.
did you knew it was a 52-yard field goal?
Yeah, I knew it was over 50. Yeah, when I was lining up, I didn't really think anything different coming into it. I didn't really think I needed to kind of muscle it or anything. I knew I was going to get the distance. In pre-practice, I was hitting out to 55, so I was pretty comfortable with, same stroke, just a matter of keeping it straight. I pulled the other ones left, so just I was trying to aim it more like right third, just in case it started trailing left. I'd have enough of space to get it in there.
I gotta ask you, did you know it was a school record when you were gonna kick it?
No, when I was about to kick it, in my mind, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just kind of focus on bouncing back. I hate missing. I feel like I let the team down, and those are very, very important kicks. And so, one thing that was going through my mind is the last one, which is just coming in clutch. I wasn't nervous a single bit. I was more confident than anything. And I just kind of just knew off my foot it was money, and I was just glad to come out with the win. That was the most important thing. It would have been horrible to have a chance to help our team out and then lose the game. So I'm just glad we won that game.
I'm telling you, man, people don't understand the pressure kickers go through.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at it as if they think it's the easiest job. No, it's not. And now one thing we definitely saw was your improvement on the kickoffs.
Mm.
I can see your legs a lot stronger. Me and you, we've talked. What I feel you need to work on. What you need to work on.
Mm.
But what did you do different this off season? That set it apart from the beginning of the last season.
Just work ethic. When you put a lot of time and effort into finding out the details that come a long way. Working on the little things like contact is probably the most important thing as a kicker. You have clean contact on the ball's in a zero. You don't have to try to crush it. You just know if you hit that sweet spot, it's going to go 60, 65, 70 yards. So that was the biggest thing, being more smooth. But like I said, those details that a lot of kickers don't really work on come a long way. And so I'd have days where I wouldn't really do full-out field goals. I would just do no steps and ball contact drills to make sure I got that pop. I would do stuff without a ball a lot of the days where I was just trying to get my body aligned right, and it got to the point where I don't have to think about when I'm kicking. I've put in the work so that my muscle memory is just so on point where I just line up and my body just kind of does the rest. I don't have to overthink, overanalyze, which I feel like I've done in the past. That's probably a kicker's worst thing, getting on their own head. You overthink, overanalyze everything going on around you instead of just trusting your instincts and trusting what you do. You do that all day, every day. And so, like I said, a lot of it's mental. A lot of it's definitely mental. Kicking is 90% mental, in my opinion. Most kickers at this level can hit 50, 55 yarders. They wouldn't be a Division I kicker if they couldn't hit those type of balls. A lot of us, pretty much everyone at this level, can perform. It's just what separates the top from the rest. The average guys is just how good can you concentrate in the games, and how good can you do the little things right that make all the difference when the game starts. So on kickoff, like I said, all off season, I just worked on smoother steps, getting downfield, clean contact, and just kind of just from that point on, even it was crazy that I didn't even think I got a hold of any of those kickoffs. I didn't feel like I hit any of those clean. I hit them decent, but I didn't feel like I caught any of them really, really clean.
And you talk about the difference between a Division I kicker
Mm-hmm.
and so on. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you to A&T? What made you a Division I kicker?
My results. I felt like in high school, high school I wasn't really form trained. I never really learned all that until much later on. There was just kind of a lot of me, doing what I could from what I saw, and and then I just kind of kept working on it. And even though my form wasn't that good, I put so much work into perfecting the form I had to make it successful. So like I knew I had a strong leg, and like kickoff's really good in high school, and I feel like that's what got me a lot of D1 offers is my kickoff strength, and a lot of coaches could see that. And then field goals, it was just a matter of just fine-tuning those mechanics and getting rid of that. I played soccer my whole life, getting rid of that soccer swing, that soccer.
It's terrible, man.
Yeah,
it's terrible,
if you play soccer your whole life, you have those muscle memories, and it's so freaking hard to break those bad habits. Just kicking, you want just a straight-on swing downfield, and it's something so unnatural than what you've been doing your whole life. So but it's just a matter of like, if you literally take the time every day to work on just changing that swing to what you want it to be. And coming in as a freshman, I think that was one of the things I didn't really do well. I didn't really prepare well coming into my freshman season. And last year, I put more work in, but I don't think I understood like what working hard really meant. I would go out and I'd kick and put the time in, but I didn't focus on the details. For instance, like Coach Wash always tells us, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can go out there and hit 100 balls, but if you're not really working with a purpose, if you're not let's say if I'm just hitting field goals all day, I'm not really getting better. What's going to make me better is if one day I go out there like, all right, I'm going to work on my contact. I don't care where the ball goes, whether I miss it or not. At the end of the day, my sole focus is to hit a clean ball. All right, you work on that for a couple of days, and the next week, all right, my contact's down. Today I'm going to work on finishing downfield. I don't care if contact sucks or whatever happens. As my body finishes downfield, that's what I came here to do. I came here to get this one detail that's going to make all the difference in the long run. And a lot of kickers don't do that. That they're result-oriented instead of the process-oriented. Me and Dom always talk about that. The process it's not fun, but you got to trust that the results are going to come. You get what you put in, and a lot of kickers, they just want to hit a big ball. They don't want to take the time to go through changing mechanics and changing these details, because they just see the ball not going in, or they just see the ball not being this monster ball that they're chasing. They're not patient enough. They're not trusting the process. The process makes everything. And that's my advice to a lot of high school kickers coming in, to work on those details. Those details, those are going to make you consistent. And another thing I've learned, especially this offseason from training with a lot of big-time D1 kickers at schools like Purdue, Notre Dame, Carolina State. I've kicked with a lot of guys this offseason through my kicking coach. And a lot of these guys hit the same exact ball I do. There's nothing really different that I could play at that same level. That's what I've learned. These guys are, oh my gosh, that's the NC State kicker. The guy kicks the same ball as you. They don't chase a monster ball. They're chasing consistency. Mm-hmm. When you get to college, you find that out quick. A coach could care less. Like you're in high school, obviously these high school people post about 60, 65, 70 yards on Twitter. What's going to matter is, can you hit 40 yards and in, like, automatic. As I see big time guys all the time get beat out by walk-ons because they're not consistent. That's just the biggest thing. Like chase consistency. Don't chase a monster ball. The monster ball is not going to get you anywhere. Anybody can hit a monster ball, but only certain few can go 19 out of 20 from 40 yards in every day. You need to be reliable. You need to be able to every day have the trust and confidence from everybody around you that you're going to be consistent. You're going to be clutch. Nobody wants to be known for having a big leg. Like, yeah, I made a 52-yard field goal, but I would have liked to make the other two kicks. I'd rather be consistent than just, be known for coming in clutch at the end. To me, being clutch is always being reliable, not just coming through at the very end. Because where were you the rest of the game? You probably wouldn't be in a situation had you just been taking care of results from the get-go. So that's kind of my mindset now. And, a lot has been trial and error. I've learned a lot from coming in as a freshman. I've had really, really lows from, my first college game to, my first celebration while missing 2 field goals to last year having a chance to hit a winning field goal against Morgan State to missing it, and then they come down and beat us on a winning field goal. I feel like I've gone through the lowest of the lows as a kicker, and I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. If anything, me going through that has helped me grow as a kicker, helped me grow as a person. I've learned a lot from those hard times, and I would rather go through that now than have something like that happen much later in my kicking career. Like you see, like Aguayo, who's had a very successful college career, and then he didn't really had hardship till hit the pros, and now it's like his NFL career is basically done. And, so I feel like when you learn how to deal with adversity early on, it makes you that much of a better kicker down the road. So now I know how to handle it. Now I know how to shake off a miss. I don't let it linger in my head. I could just feel how much I've grown. Like I said, you only grow through. You wouldn't grow if you didn't go through those hard times. It's the only way you're ever gonna learn. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't ever be afraid to just miss. I always heard, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just don't make the same mistake twice. Like, learn from your mistakes. Don't keep repeating the same bad habits. Something doesn't work. Fix that. Fix it immediately, and stay positive. Stay confident. Like I said, kicking's all mental. Like, that's probably just the number one thing. Training your mind just comes a long, long way.
Yeah, no, I love the way you said that. It helps you grow, because that's one thing I love about sports. Sports in general, besides kicking, it helps you grow so much as an individual. And one thing that's a fact is, there's a lot of guys that are, pretty good. I'll say it that way. I would say superstar. They're pretty good, and they can be better. But since they already feel accomplished,
Exactly.
or something, they don't take that next step. They don't work hard. Their mind is occupied doing other things.
Exactly.
And like you said, walk-ons come take your spot. That can happen anywhere, man.
Yes.
And then, that's something that can translate to life. I remember your freshman year when we talked about this too. But the way you do something, becomes a habit. If you develop bad habits, those habits will transfer on later on as you work. Same ways if you develop good habits. That's one great thing, because since you came to A&T, we all saw your potential. The ones that hang out, because the fans, they only see what goes on the bright lights, but everybody else sees what goes on behind the curtains. And we always saw that potential in you. But now I'm seeing Noel, the person that's growing. You're more mature, you're more focused. That's one thing I completely love about you, man. And I'm very proud of you, for one, and then it makes me feel good seeing that you can do that, you can process, because the lows, man, that can bring you down. The worst parts, a lot of times, you can let that affect your personal life too.
Definitely.
I feel like you didn't let that happen. In the contrary, I think it helped you. Like you said, you're a much more mature kid in and out the field. And it's great. But let's be real. How much pressure did you feel relieved out your shoulders once that kick went in?
Definitely felt like a lot of pressure. Was relieved. It was just mainly more of just, I guess, I definitely wanted to prove myself. I haven't really, in my opinion, I'm really hard on myself. I don't feel like I've had like a really good season since I've been here, and it's just frustrating, because I know what I want to leave behind when I leave here, and it was definitely a little frustrating. Like, so those first 2 kicks, to kind of just see all the hard work I put in and then not produce the results, because I've always said, doesn't matter what you do and practice everything. At the end of the day, you got to put the results out there, And so for those balls didn't fall my way, it took a lot. It took a lot mentally to stay in my head, to not lose myself, to kind of just stay focused, stay ready. That next kick is coming, and to not change anything. That was another thing. I felt like, for instance, I see some kickers, let's say they pull a ball left, they'll overcompensate, so they'll pull a ball right, and next thing you know, you're spraying balls left and right. You're not that shows you're not confident in what you're doing. I didn't change anything. I saw one ball went left, so next one I just slightly changed where I aimed. Pulled left again. A third one I didn't change a thing. I could have swung completely to the right and pulled it right, but I just trusted it. 100% trusted myself, my technique. I was like, this one's gonna fall my way. I just know it. And there was something about that last kick that it felt like time slowed down. I didn't really hear noise. It was just an intense focus, and I just remember. Like I remember mouthing the words like, I'm about to crush this ball. Like this one's money. Like something felt right that I didn't feel nervous at all. It was probably like I felt more confident than anything. And but yeah, like you said, I definitely felt a little bit of weight off my shoulders just in terms of winning the game and just kind of finally proving somewhat what I can do. Showing that I am like who I believe I am. I am the best kicker in the nation. I firmly believe that. But I gotta go out there and prove it. I gotta go out there and put the results up, and to just come through and help the team win. That was like the biggest. Like I said, a game-winning field goal is every kicker's dream. That was my first game-winning kick ever, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Like I said, it's so special, man. When I came in 2011, the first thing I did was look up all the records that were at A&T. And I saw Yannick Matthews 2003 against Elon, by the way.
Yeah.
It had the 52-yard field goal that was the longest ever. My longest field goal in high school was a 48. Like you said, we should be able to kick 50, 55s.
Yeah.
I was never able to prove myself, unfortunately. Then when, Saxon Maglia was the kicker my sophomore year, same thing. He also wanted to break that record. Cody came in my junior year, and same when Cody was here, he also wanted to break that record. And but I think most importantly, we all wanted that game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
I heard you say it on an interview after the game. It's every kicker's dream. It definitely is.
Yeah, definitely. We
all dream of it, and I think that's what made it more special. And for me personally, what made it so special, my kicking coach from high school, he was on the sidelines. I believe I told you that.
Yeah.
But he's the kicking coach at Elon now. Shout out Mike Noel. That's my guy. And then Don Friskier, one of my best friends, my brother. He's now on your sideline, coaching you as well. And then it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful to watch all that. And also shout out Petey Bush, the holder.
Yeah.
And you gotta shout out my guys, Yeah. And John Davis, the snappers.
Yeah.
Great guys, man. And just all you guys out there and performing, man. It was beautiful, man. It was emotional. And but I think another great thing that I see in A&T right now is the depth of our specialists, man.
Oh, yeah.
We never had that. When my freshman year, it was me and Skylar Thomas, who was a kick and converted punter that year. We were short, but it was only two of us. That's it. And we also had our snappers as well. But now you have a lot of competition. And I think that's something healthy. How's that helping you improve your game?
Definitely. You definitely need competition to push you. If you're not pushing each other, then you're not going to get any better. And I remember that's something even Cody even told me. He wishes that he had, some good competition. Because if you don't have competition, I feel like you're probably going to get complacent. You have nobody pushing you. You have nobody to kind of outdo. But at the same time, especially this year, I don't even feel like I'm competing with anybody. If anything, I'm competing with myself, and that's another mindset thing I've changed this year. Like every day, I'm out to improve myself. If I went, 10 for 10 one day, I want to go 11 for 11. If I keep making everything, I want to see how far back I can go. I want to keep outdoing myself. If I make every ball, but 2 or 3 of those balls were kind of close to the left or close to the right, the next challenge is I'm hit every ball right down the middle. Just never stop being complacent. And so even though competition does bring out the best in you, I definitely think that you should always compete with yourself, most importantly, because if you start worrying about what everybody else is doing, that's taken away from what you're focusing on yourself. You don't need to be worrying about what everybody else is doing. If anything, these teammates you have should be pushing you instead of not really necessarily competing with you. They should be betting on you. I bet you won't make the 50-yarder. Just pushing you, putting pressure on you. That'll help you grow as a kicker or as a specialist in your position. And in doing so, y'all will both get better. You should always, because if you want your guy beside you to be just as good as you, because you want him to be able to, when you're done, him to follow in your footsteps, or God forbid if something happens to you, he's right there to take your place and you're there to support him. But I definitely think that Coach Wash has been the guy that's brought this big emphasis on special teams, something that hasn't really been a thing at A&T in the past. He sees how important we are, and so he puts a bigger emphasis in practice. He puts us in more pressure situations. He puts more special teams in practice and in scrimmages, where the past kickers, y'all have told me y'all used to not kick in the spring game or not really get much action in scrimmages. Whereas now, like we kick all the time. We're always kicking in scrimmages. We're always kicking in the spring game now. And so it's good to see that, there's a coach that firmly believes how, he could see how important and how much of a difference we make. And, the whole week leading up to Elon game, Dom kept telling us, the special teams is gonna win or lose this game. He told us, we're gonna be the difference in this game. Yeah. He knew it. He knew it was gonna be a close game, and if it's gonna separate it, it's if we win the kicking game. The motto: stop the run and protect the football, and most importantly, win the kicking game. And I felt like we did a good job of that. I felt like we won the kicking game.
And Doms definitely want to know about a kicking game winning games.
Yeah,
and everybody knows about that legendary game by your coach Dom Friscura against App State in 2013.
100%.
He was probably the MVP of that game. I might be biased because I'm a kicker, but I just felt like he completely changed, the field. And it was amazing. And one thing too is you talked about Coach Wash, how he's giving more emphasis on special teams, something that we haven't seen in A&T before, but something we haven't seen a lot in the HBCUs.
Oh yeah.
And now we were talking earlier about Jamie Gillian, out of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
He made the Browns. How do you feel about it? Because personally, I feel like that opens a lot of doors.
It definitely does. It definitely, because I feel like it's so hard to make the NFL as a specialist from FCS in general. But HBCUs, we're probably the last, place you're going to look at to find specialists. And, for him to, come in and everybody was talking about, he's just a camp leg. He didn't really have a serious shot at taking the job of a 10-year NFL veteran. Everybody thought that was a long shot, a crazy
Pro Bowler too, right?
Yeah, I think it was a Pro Bowl alternate. It's just no, I don't think anybody saw that coming, and for him to show his grit and to shock the world, and everybody knew he had one of the strongest legs you're ever going to see, and he proved everybody wrong, and I can't wait to see what he does this year.
The Scottish Hammer.
The Scottish Hammer, already making nicknames, and it does open up so many doors, and I'm hoping that I can break that barrier as well. From a kicker standpoint, from making from an HBCU, he definitely sets the bar, if especially if he has a phenomenal rookie season, and it'll just help NFL scouts start looking at us more. We're already starting to see a lot of HBCUs getting NFL talent, especially at A&T. We've had a guy drafted the past 3 years in a row.
Yep.
And now we have 4 active guys that have just made final rosters. Now it's just waiting for the specialist to be the next guy. We want that. We're making such huge gains every year. It feels like there's something new. Somebody new is paving the way. And I can't wait for Jamie Gillen to play. I'm so happy that like I said, if you said that a year ago that the Arkansas Pine Bluff punter was going to make the league, I don't think anybody would have.
Yeah. And it's crazy because even myself, I hadn't heard about him until last year, man. And then it was like once I looked him up, I saw how strong of a leg he had.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see him making the 53-man roster, and man,
yeah,
it's great. I wonder if there has been any other HBCU specialist before. I'll probably look that up.
Yeah, there has in the past. I
think it was a FAMU punter.
Yeah,
too,
FAMU
right?
punter. Yeah. Marquette King, he came from a D2 HBCU, and I thought that was pretty special, especially having a black punter in the league. Something that we don't see too often. I think Marquette King did a good job of setting paving the way for black specialists. You just gotta find us. It's just that next HBCU specialist to make it. Actually, I remember Grambling's kicker, Mark Orozco, was getting a lot of NFL looks this past year. He didn't get picked up by anybody, but, I remember reading that, he was getting a lot of NFL scouts, intriguing about him. He was very, very consistent throughout his career at Grambling State. I got the opportunity to meet him when we played them, and I thought, he was a phenomenal kicker. I still hope he gets a shot somewhat down the road, because he's definitely his story is really good. He left football for a year. I think his dad was sick or something like that, and when he came back, he didn't miss a step. He actually came back better than ever, and I feel like that proves something. He's a Hispanic guy too, so I'm Hispanic, so that's something that you don't see at all. I don't think really in the league, a Hispanic player, and let alone a Hispanic specialist.
There's very, very few of them.
Yeah.
Very few. Interesting thing though, football is growing in Mexico a lot, and they actually have a professional league in Mexico now too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but definitely, man, I love because I know I was a little pumped when Mark Sanchez made it.
Yeah.
Mexican quarterback. I mean, we had Tony Romo, but
yeah.
But yeah, man, seeing that Hispanic in the league, that would be pretty dope, especially somebody that can, a marketable guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty awesome. But A&T, you've done something that we haven't, and that's win celebration most. Well, Cody won one too, but
yeah.
How's it feel, man? Two for two. How's
that? It feels great, just being a part of those teams, and what you kind of take away from each year is you being around certain people. You start learning what makes us different than other schools, and why we've been so successful, and why we keep winning the MEAC and we keep winning Celebration Bowl, and you get to learn about what it takes to be a winner. And me personally, I think it was something that Coach Broadway brought. He was definitely a great coach. Looking.
It was intense, man.
Very intense, very scary. Anybody will tell you. Playing under him, I learned that he got results. He didn't care. How is an asshole, to so say. He came for one job only, and the job is to win. And he didn't care how he made you feel. He didn't care, how the message came across, but he was going to get his results one way or another. He would tell you he wants you, but he did not need you.
One thing I definitely loved having Broadway too, it was the discipline. I mean, he was tough for a reason.
Yes.
100%. Because a bunch of us coming out of high school, we might be 18, but we're still kids, And so, especially after you start winning, man, I think I'm a big fan of, MMA, and I think it was Conor McGregor who said this. Talking about people talk that a loss can make or break a fighter, but a win can also make or break a fighter. And I think that's in any sport. And the way Coach Broadway was, how tough he was on us. He kept us composed.
100%. One thing till this day, just probably the number one thing that Coach Broadway instilled in me. He said every single week before every game that winning is in the preparation. And to me, that comes a long way in everything you do. It does not just sports and business. The way you prepare is what's going to dictate the outcome. So, for instance, he didn't care if we're playing a D2 school or if we're playing UNC Charlotte, like for that year we had. He treated every team the exact same way. He knew that if we had the mindset that this team is, one of the best teams we're going to play, then we're going to play at our hardest. He didn't care if the team was 0-10. We were going to treat them like they're equal to us. Winning is in the preparation. We prepare like they're a top dog team. We're not taking anything for granted. We're not getting complacent. I think that's part of being disciplined. Whereas this past year, for instance, when we lost to Morgan State, you could just feel that week that nobody was really taking it seriously. We had just come off of upsetting ECU and upsetting Jacksonville State. We had done something that was, unheard of, coming off of an undefeated season and then beating the two toughest teams on our schedule out the gate. It looked like the rest of our schedule was going to be a breeze. Like, we all thought, like, wow, we're about to create history yet again. We're about to go back-to-back undefeated seasons. And you could just feel it. That week of Morgan State, just because of, we smacked Morgan State the year before, and, we didn't really take them seriously. There was no, thought of ever losing. And when the game showed up, nobody was prepared. They were so surprised that Morgan State was putting up a fight. They couldn't handle this adversity. They couldn't handle, things going south. And I think that's a big thing of why, we lost that game and why we lost to FAMU. But at the end of the day, we were able to collect as a group and finish out the job, which was to win the MEAC and to win the Celebration Bowl. But if you ask me, the biggest difference between the 2017 and the 2018 season was how we prepared each week. We just didn't treat every opponent the same at all.
But I feel like those losses helped you guys too, because I feel like you could definitely see it on this past weekend. The way you guys kept fighting, kept holding on. And I mean it ended up with that field goal. But I think that's something that comes from those losses as well. It's
100%
that long road.
100%. It definitely humbles you, and like I said, going back to that winning as a preparation. If I come in not really training or not training that hard, when it comes to game time, I'm not going to be that confident in the kick. If I train my tail off to the point where I'm so consistent, I'm going to have all the confidence in the world. That's just how you prepare. And, it's for anybody on the field. The quarterback's been working all summer on every single detail. The offense has been, practicing their plays, and, everything as a group comes collective. Everybody's going to be confident. And that's how you prepare to win. And that's the formula. There's not really a secret formula. We just outwork everybody. It's as simple as that. We definitely have talented players, and we have players that obviously make a big difference in the game. But at the end of the day, I just feel like what separates us is how we prepare. We put a lot of emphasis on those small details week in and week out. We don't take a week off or we're going to hit cruise control. No, every week is a battle. Every week we're at war. We're not letting off the gas at all. We come in for one goal. The goal is to win the Celebration Bowl, and we're not gonna take a second to relax at all. We're not, because we have nothing to celebrate. The job's not done.
Yeah.
The job's not done. We just won't beat Elon, but maybe for the rest of that night, it's okay. You feel accomplished, but as soon as Sunday hits, now attention's to Duke. Now it's the next game. You don't sit back and for a couple of days and just kind of enjoy the win. No, you got 7 days to prepare for the next opponent. You got to prepare. Now it's Duke, and that to me this is an important game for us. One of the most important games for us was, even though we've beaten 3 FBS teams 3 years in a row, we've never played we've never beat a Power 5 school.
Yeah.
And if we go in and beat an ACC school,
I'm going crazy. That's the best way to put it.
We've shocked the world so many times the last couple of years, and now that's the next step. It's another one of those games where we prove everybody wrong, where we prove that we belong at the top. I still feel like every year we, in terms of FCS rankings, we get ranked kind of 20th, and then we go in and we beat these top FCS schools, and then we beat FBS schools, and we're like, where's our credit? Obviously people want to see us in the FCS playoffs so we can, kind of prove that, but, we just never really get that credit, and it's just, but it helps us. It's a chip on our shoulder. It gives us something to prove, gives us that motivation. But like I said, I firmly believe we can beat Duke. You shouldn't ever believe you can't beat an opponent, ever. You come in with the mindset that oh my gosh, they're Duke, then yeah, you're going to get your tail whooped, If you come in with that mindset that Duke is not better than you, then I feel like you have a phenomenal shot at beating them.
100%.
And we've shocked the world before, so just based off what we've done, there gives me no reason as to why we couldn't upset Duke. Obviously most people are going to count us out, but like I said, when we played UNC Charlotte and we played ECU, I always remember the mindset was we're about to beat the hell out of them. I never did I get the sense in a room where we're like, oh my gosh, we're playing an FBS school. We're kind of scared, we're kind of worried. No, everybody in the room always had that mindset, oh, we're about to go in here and we're about to shock the world. And I think that's why we did what we did. Yeah. It starts with that mindset. It starts again back to the formula, the preparation. out the gate in your mind, you're like, we're going to win this game, and we're going to prepare and do everything we can to make sure we get this result. And I'm telling you, I think it's something that Broadway did. Obviously, you were here for Broadway's first season, and I think you're probably the one the most that understands everything Broadway did to turn this program around. You know how it was prior to him coming here, and he left his legacy here 100%. What we are now would not be possible without Coach Broadway.
Oh man, it's crazy the change, man. The change that's happened ever since. It's completely different.
100%.
When I've only heard stories when he first got here. That spring before I came, and but I remember that camp. Man, it was tough, man. It was intense because I wrestled in high school and I did just about every other sport, so I was always in shape. But I came with the mentality that I was a kicker. In high school you kick and you go home. That's it. And he was like, I had to run, I had to do everything. So it was mind opening. And but definitely, man, just seeing what the team was in 2011 to now, it's insane, man. And I'm also very glad that a lot of the coaches are still here. Just about every coach that was in 2011.
That's another thing. That is another thing. The reason why we haven't skipped a beat, with Coach Wash is because Coach Wash was Coach Broadway for so long that he still has, he still brings everything that Coach Broadway brought. So do all the coaches. They all learn from him. They know the culture. I think it's a culture that we have right now.
And proven track record, man.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you just look at Coach Gibbs. Every year he's produced, and
100%.
incredible talent.
100%.
Running back you, baby. And Coach Wash, and one thing I really admire about Coach Wash is not so much coaching. I don't understand much football outside of kicking, to be honest with you. But just who he is as a person, the way he carries himself, and I feel like he's translating that pretty well to the team.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think that, his coaching style is a little different, but he's definitely more of understanding with us. He'll feel how we're feeling, and he'll kind of go off that. He knows if we're sluggish in practice, he'll know how to get us out of that slump.
Yeah.
He'll be able to understand from that aspect, and just kind of he's very, very understanding, and but he's not laid back. You don't take him for granted because he still knows how to instill that Coach Broadway kind of discipline. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Like you said, Coach Gibbs is a very intense coach. He's a very, he's very, very strict and disciplined. He doesn't care if, what you did the season before, what kind of hot shot you are. He expects you to do things a certain way because he knows what it takes to be successful. And you saw that with Tariq Cohen. I think he did a great job of making Tariq Cohen to who he is today. Obviously I wasn't here I didn't play here when Tariq was here, but, just from hearing people's stories and from being around Tariq himself, I can tell that a lot of how he is as a person and his work ethic is from Coach Gibbs. I think, having guys like him and Coach Cord's another one that I think is a very, very intense coach, but, he just produced Bam. I think Bam's going to be very, very special this year, and it's a lot of these guys that we're starting to produce. I think it starts from the culture and what we shaped them to be. I feel like HBCUs, we don't have a lot of the resources to, if you want to get a player that big, we don't have the luxury of being able to feed them this much food, to provide them with, this and that other big schools can supply for a player. But, it doesn't take all that to teach a player discipline, work ethic, what it takes to get to that next level, how bad do you want it, or just in general what it takes to be successful, once you're done with football and, what's next in life. You learn a lot of these lessons from football and just from being around A&T. I feel like you grow as a person. And another thing that I like to think about is what made that 2017 team so successful is not just the discipline. Obviously, discipline is probably the number one thing that we had, but the old heads, those seniors, the fourth and fifth year seniors that we had, they were so disciplined. They were that group of guys was just so like they kept everybody in check, and you just learned a lot from being around these guys. They didn't let you get away with anything. They held you to a certain standard. A lot of these guys didn't make the NFL, but they're very successful in what they're doing now. They have great jobs, and I think it started from what they learned from A&T football.
Yeah.
They learned discipline, and if you want to be successful, you gotta work, do these little details. Get up early, go hard in everything you do. You shouldn't ever be complacent. I think Coach Broadway and Coach Wash and the whole coaching staff, that's something they preach to us on a daily basis. If we get in trouble for missing breakfast or for missing a lift, they're gonna punish us because they know that if you do that in the real world, if you miss a day of work or if you miss something like that, there's gonna be real life consequences that.
Indeed, man. Indeed. And that's one thing I really wanted to talk to you about. Me and you, we have similar backgrounds in a way. Immigrant parents. So on how has A&T changed your life and your family's life?
It's from college is probably the number one thing. Getting a free education, and that's something that I think about sometimes when I'm thinking of, for instance, if I ever think about missing class or if I'm struggling in a class, the first thing I think about is right now my dad is at home cutting grass for a living. It's not something that he wants to do, but he knows that he has to do it every single day to keep us in a house, to put food on our table. And I've done landscaping with them every summer from sixth grade to the point where I left for college. And I could tell you right now, I'm young and I worked out a lot and stuff, but being in the heat all day kicked my butt. I was so exhausted every day, and I did it every summer, and it still never failed. I never got old. I was always exhausted and tired. And my dad does it every day, throughout the years, on holidays. It doesn't matter what, because he can't take a day off. He's got bills to pay. He's doing whatever he can, and just. I think about what he's doing, and I'm like, why would I miss a class? He's working his tail off, just to provide for my family. I want him to one day be able to retire. My mom, she works hard as well, and just giving them the luxury of something. My dad he wasn't fortunate enough to have what I had, the opportunity at college. My dad's from El Salvador, where school is not really important over there. The only, over there, poverty is really bad. Violence is really, really bad. And he'll tell me stories about how, when he was growing up, there was a war going on, and it was very, very dangerous. And he only went to school for, I want to say he claims from second to sixth grade, and he just had to go to work. That's all he's done his whole life, work. He had his mom died when he was 13. And he's the oldest out of the boys, so he knew very quick that he had to mature, and he just had to go to work. So his whole life he's been working, and then when he got 18, he decided to move to the United States, for a better life. And same thing, he wasn't fortunate enough to go to school or anything. As soon as he got here, he just started working, and he's never gotten a break. And he's never had he never got they got the chance to make something of himself. I think it's very hard to see everything he's been through and know how lucky I have it to be in a situation where I can go to school, I can go to college. I'm the first one from my dad's side to go to college, and seeing how and even though my dad wasn't around school, he was always big on me doing well in school, making sure I was not missing class, everything. Where growing up where I was from, a lot of the Hispanic kids I grew up with, a lot of them dropped out of high school, and if they did graduate high school, college was never a realistic thing to them. It was work. Everybody wants to just go to work immediately. And, to me, I want a career. I want to actually do something with my life and kind of, do what makes me happy. And I know what I'm capable of, and I know I can accomplish great things. And, like I said, as Hispanics, I feel like Hispanics, a lot of people have a similar background, and I want to inspire. I know there's people way less fortunate, than me that didn't have maybe one of the parents in their life or maybe way, way more poor than I was. They don't have the luxury of, being able to play travel soccer from a young age like I did, or, being able to go to kicking camps like I was able to. I want to inspire and show that it is possible to make it. It is possible to go to college and make a great career, no matter what kind of background you're from. Growing up that way, you kind of learn from these things, and A&T, has taught me to keep going. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back home to that. That's the last thing I want to do. And talking about Dom was one of the first ones. He's also been through the lowest of lows. He had it rough. If there's anybody that knows what it takes to change your life around, it's him. I always think of him as a wise man, because there's not anything that he's not been through, honestly. I go to him about any issue, and he'll know exactly what to say, because he's been through it. And he's legit like a role model. When he came back to A&T, I think he had straight A's the rest of his. Yeah. That's very strict discipline. Yeah. And he'll be the first one to get on me about anything. And the thing I love about Dom is that he always gets on me, no matter what. We've argued who knows how many times since he's been my coach, and it's never out of anything negative. Anytime he gets on me, it's because he's trying to set me straight. He sees something that I'm not doing correct. He sees that I'm getting complacent. He sees that I'm not doing well in class, or I'm not doing well in kicking, whether it be me just being lazy, me just not really focusing. And if he was not there to get on me, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. I really wouldn't. You need somebody like that truly cares. That they're getting on you, not to be mean. They're getting on you because they want the best out of you. They want to see you succeed. And I'm lucky to have him right by my side. I'm lucky to. I think he's another person that's helped me grow in big time. Especially in the last couple of years. Just anything, just from football to just relationships to school. I feel like I'm doing really, really well in school right now, and a lot of that has been because of Dom has stressed the importance of how important that stuff is. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you need that degree. Football is not forever. Everybody knows that. Being at A&T has brought these people in my life, and I think I look back, and if I'd gone anywhere else, I probably would not have learned things I've learned. I would not be the kicker I am right now, and the kicker that I'm going to be in the future. I think everything works out for a reason. When I was in high school, I always tell people the story, like NC Central Arrival was my first offer, and they recruited me pretty heavily. They were very, very big on me out the gate. On my first visit, the head coach at the time took me and my parents out and brought us into his office, and just told my parents, it was a full-ride scholarship. I was going to start as a true freshman, and it was everything parents want to hear, and they would always, text me all the time, and I visited there like probably 3 times, and I came to A&T, and originally I was told I was only on a half scholarship offer, and obviously my parents are like, well, go with the full offer, and as more schools started talking to me, I'd take other school visits, but there was something about A&T that, I tell people, like, if anybody else, all the signs, I guess, were pointing to Central. At the time, they'd beat A&T 3 years in a row. That year, they'd actually, beat A&T to go to the Celebration Bowl that year. And I remember after they beat A&T, the coaches sending me pictures of the championships, the three-peat of the championships lined up at the rings, like, get on the boat before it's too late. They would send me stuff like that left and right. It's like, and my parents, I'll tell people, my parents wanted me to go to Central, and I don't blame them. Like I said, they were recruiting process. They were very consistent in the way. They're very honest about the way they wanted me.
Your mom graduated from Central, right?
No, she didn't. She went to Barton.
Okay.
But she loved it over there though.
But you have family, right, that goes to
I have a
Central?
cousin that goes to Central right now.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah. But there was something about the first visit I took here, and I really can't describe it. It was a gut feeling. It was a gut feeling. Something felt right about Greensboro. Something felt right about the campus. Honestly, I just kept holding out for A&T. I really did. I really felt something here where Central, I just didn't feel it. All the signs were basically pointing me, Central's the perfect school for you. Like, what else would you do you want? And my gut feeling just didn't feel right over there. There was something that was like, if I didn't play football anymore and I was just a regular student here, I probably wouldn't be happy. Whereas A&T, every time I step foot on campus, like I just love the atmosphere. I just can't put it in words. Like something just felt right. And at the end of the day, I went with that gut feeling. And I'll never forget Coach Barnett, the coach that recruited me here, when we beat Central that year, and he comes up to me and is like, I told you, I promised you when you committed that you were going to make the right decision. Like you trusted your gut that this was the place for you. And, and even if we didn't win Celebration Bowls the past 2 years and anything, I still think I would genuinely be happy here. Just the people that I've met along the way and the lessons that I've learned, that I've come a long way. I feel like, I just really feel like everything happens for a reason. Trust it,
Yeah.
You can't put it into words. Like I said, it was a gut feeling.
God works in mysterious ways, man.
Very mysterious ways.
It's destined because my route to A&T was a pretty interesting one too, but it was just like you said, the people that you get to meet here, touch the history behind the the university, man. It's amazing, but like to this day, man, I still talk. I mean, Dom's my roommate, he's been one of my best friends since 2013. Cody, I see him, maybe every 2 weeks or so, and a bunch of the other guys, I still frequently talk to him, and A&T is special. But we see it all the time with A&T giving guys opportunities. Tariq Cohen,
yes,
only scholarship,
yes.
A&T, I think Elijah Bell. I think
E-Bell, that was his only offer.
His only offer. And
Bam actually walked on here. We're his only offer, and I thought that was incredible.
It's incredible. I don't know if you heard Wallace Miles, but he was a walk-on kicker, and he left as one of the greatest receivers of all time here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he actually played at Westlake High School with Cam Newton and Lewis Kendall, who was our quarterback here, and Nate Niles, who was a tackle here as well. But yeah, Wallace Miles, you should check in his story. He's a really interesting figure, man. Legend here out of A&T. Okay. Incredible guy too, man. He was a senior my freshman year.
Okay.
But yeah, man. But man, Noel, I'm telling you, man, I'm so happy to see you grow, man. You keep growing. Like I said, we all know the potential you have in you. The people are just now seeing what we've been seeing for a while. But I'm really happy for you, bro. Thanks for being my first podcast guest.
No problem.
Yeah, it was a great talk, but again, proud of you, man. Best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Thank you.